Night.
I know. It's like been very nerve-wracking all day, like fine-tuning my speech, making sure I'm not missing anyone or things like that. Last night at the volleyball game, it obviously wasn't a win for us, but it was just so exciting seeing how far the program has been, and everyone was just coming up to me like, this is the house you built, this is the house you built. And I was just like, okay, this is a lot of pressure, but no, I'm super excited for this night.
Take me back a couple of months ago when you found out you were being inducted in this class. Was it a shock to you? How did they relay the news, and kind of what was your initial reaction and emotional response?
No, I mean, of course it was a shock. I mean, I'm only 30, so I'm like barely 10 years even out. I graduated in 15, so it's a huge deal. Even last year when I got the call to be inducted into the Ring of Honor for volleyball, that was insane. I remember when I was here at the All Skills Camp looking up at Jenny Frank's banner on the wall, wondering like, one day, hopefully I'll be up there, but you don't come thinking about yourself. You come thinking about how you're going to advance the program. So I'll never forget when Carlos McCants texted me. So in my job, for those of you that don't know, I work at a search firm. So a lot of times I'm talking to administrators and things of that nature anyway. And so he texted me Tuesday night, I will never forget it, and said, hey, do you have time for a quick call tomorrow? And there are some people that you make them schedule a call. There are some people that you call immediately. So Carlos and I have built a very good relationship. So I was like, yeah, no problem. I'll call you tomorrow at 3. And I get on the phone and, you know, we're just chopping it up. It's very casual. And then he's like, I've got some really great news for you. Giving you a heads up, they're going to be inducting you into the Hall of Fame. And I just immediately started crying, like immediately, because this past year has been a lot for me personally in terms of like continuing to grow into my own and just embracing all that I am. And one of the things that I talk about all the time is the confidence in just presence that I learned as a volleyball player and a student athlete here at UCF and everything that we stand for as a brand. So when he called me, it was just insane. And then at that time also, for my 30th birthday gift to myself, I was buying a new car. So when Terry called me, I was actually at the dealership getting the new car. So it was just like, sometimes you make really hard life decisions, and when things really start going your way, it's just more confirmation that you did what you needed to do. So just all in all, it has been a fairy tale, I feel like.
You've talked about how, you know, you're only 30 and you're now getting this induction into the Hall of Fame class that includes the likes of, you know, Gene McDowell, Kyle Bono,
Yes.
Shelby Turnier. Can you expand on that? What it's felt like for you to kind of not even be a decade out from college and now are being enshrined alongside some of the people, like including Jenny Frank, like you mentioned?
No, you know, to be honest with you, as I was reading through everybody's bios and accolades in this tremendous class that we have, what immediately came to mind is everyone is a trailblazer in their own right. And the main thing that UCF has always talked about is how young we are as a school. I mean, we are playing and competing against the likes of schools that have been established for centuries. I don't know if centuries is the right thing, but at least a lot of decades. But from that standpoint, it was just really a testament of everything we've all been building together. I think when you work at UCF, you play at UCF, you go to UCF, whether you're a student athlete or not, you just kind of have this calling that you can be something more than what other people may have thought you could do. And so from that standpoint, being along people that really understood what commitment, what hard work looks like, but more importantly, faith. I mean, even when we're looking at, you know, the football coach, I mean, he was the one that helped us transition into Division I, and that's a hard thing to do in general. So having the people that understand what it looks like for alignment from the top down and how you can make those investments, how you can bring everybody along, to me, that's what everyone in this class represents. So to me, it's just kind of like an exposure leads to expansion type of thing. And so as long as you give us what we need, we'll run with it. So that's what I feel like everybody kind of shares in common.
So what are your favorite memories when you think about your playing career?
It's so many. I think first, my favorite memories are all throughout the 4 years, but where it really comes down to is my senior year. We graduated 6 of 8 starters. Marie Ridarova was my setter. She's going to be here tonight as well. But from that standpoint, we had been working so hard. We were part of a transition class, so going from Conference USA to the American. I remember Todd really emphasizing needing players that could build and transition with that. And so from that standpoint, you know, it's your senior year. Every year we had come in like third, and you know, especially as a mid-major program, you have to either win your conference from the tournament standpoint or win the regular season to even go to the postseason. So you're sitting there, you're looking at your teammates. We've got a ton of transfers: Kia Bright, Jayla Hervey, Abby Fleener, Jade Hayes. I mean, the list goes on of just how we were building a team. And I'll never forget opening conference season, we play against SMU. They were definitely our in-conference rivals, super strong program. And I remember saying to my teammates, whoever wins this game is going to win conference. And you can look it up on my Instagram, it is there. And we win in 5. Abby Fleener has the famous quote, 2 points, and we're all laughing like, no duh, Abby, we have to score 2 points. That is how you win the game of volleyball. But I mean, it was just a battle back and forth. They weren't giving up, we weren't giving up. And so we make it through that game, we make it through the first half, and where we would always kind of trip up was in the second round. Since we didn't have a tournament, we played that round robin kind of schedule. And so I'll never forget, we had played Tulsa Friday night. I had like 32 kills. It was such an efficient performance, but that was the first time where I really realized a middle cannot win a game. And I know Todd used to always tell me that, Michelle used to always tell me that, and it was about how you bring your teammates together. And I was just struggling, like, how do I lead this team and make sure that we're all playing our hardest? Because Temple had been a struggle, UConn had been a struggle, so we were just hitting a rough patch of the game. And I'll never forget, we're at the venue Sunday, 2 o'clock. When I was a student athlete, we had this thing called Athletes for Athletes. And so you would pick your game outside of USF. You would pick your game that you really wanted the department to really promote. And so we picked the SMU game because we knew that was going to be a big game. And it's standing room only. I mean, people are standing at the top of the venue. The environment is crazy. And we're going into the 5th set. We run out of subs, and everyone is just trying to stay as composed as they possibly can. SMU setter goes down, Avery Acker. She was an all-conference setter, like the best. And I just thought, oh, thank you. Like, I never want someone to get hurt, but this is a really good time for this to happen. And so the backup setter comes in. She's so nervous, and we are just firing on all cylinders and just finding a way to come together. And I will never forget, we're in the huddle, and Abby says again, 2 points. We just need 2 points. And so we rally, we win that game, everyone goes crazy, and then the next week we go to Houston, and that win clinches the American, so we don't even have to worry about it. We don't have to worry about sharing it with anyone. And so I just remember, even in that game, I was crying. I was a crier. Like, anytime I got like in a heated battle, I would be like crying. And I just remember like tears streaming down my face, trying to play everything to the best of my ability. And it was just a dream come true to know that, like, after all the hard work we had put in, we had brought that conference championship back, and that hadn't been done since 2003. So to kind of walk out and be a part of a program where we did it, especially in the second year of being in the American, it was like, that is what this was all about. So I will never forget that game. I mean, there's tons of other memories, but that was for sure, like, I can see it to this day, where balls were landing, calls that were being made, everything.
You talk about how your playing career took place during a time of transition for UCF, and now you're back here on campus being enshrined to Hall of Fame during another time of transition. So what has it been like for you coming back to campus and kind of seeing the new transitions from a conference perspective, and also with the venue getting the upgrade that it has been?
Well, the venue being upgraded is like insane. That video board, I mean, especially once they really start to add some of the different pieces like replay and just, you know, more graphics and things of that nature. I was already incredibly impressed with what that space looked like in general. It was funny because now it's season tickets only, whereas before you could just kind of sit wherever you wanted. And I actually had to move because I was accidentally in somebody else's seats. So it was really funny because I was like, oh, they're gonna laugh when they see like they made the Hall of Famer kind of move. But anyway, from that standpoint, you know, Eric was the one that brought it up. It hadn't even dawned on me that we were the inaugural class in the Big 12 era. And so to me, that was even more special because that's why I came to UCF. Like, listening to Todd sell that vision about what it was going to look like going from Conference USA into the American, a newly created conference. I mean, we look at conference realignment today and it's already all over the place, so to speak. So to be a part of something where you experience firsthand what that looks like, the growing pains, how you just have to get familiar with different programs that you've never seen. I mean, Louisville and Rutgers were in our program, and then Louisville left, and then we were just with Rutgers, and it was just a lot going on. And so anyway, with that being said, it's about blazing a trail and it's about paying it forward. I know today with NIL and transfer portal, people are always like, well, I wouldn't give student athletes this, or we didn't have this back in my day. And you know what? It doesn't matter. Like, that's about change. That's about life. You know, sometimes things are meant to get better. So if you're hung up on, well, we didn't have this big locker room, or we didn't have all this gear, like, you're not in it for the right reasons. And so I just remember last night standing on the court and looking up at the banners, 2014, obviously, and then 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022. I mean, it was like, that is what this was about. And so all the girls are great. I mean, it's like one big family. Like, we don't, alienate people. We don't isolate them. We don't forget who they were. Like, everyone knows that this person or these people were a building block, not only in UCF volleyball, but in UCF program history, because in order to excel, all your sports have to pull their weight. It's not football, it's not basketball, it's everyone collectively coming together. So to go into the Big 12, it was something that I always knew we could do, and that's why I made the decision to come here. So even when it wasn't the Big East, that was fine. I was still committed. I wasn't going to change my decision. And even earlier today, my teammate Angelica Crum said, now that you've seen everything, would you still have chosen UCF, or would you have gone to another program? I said, hands down, I still would have chosen UCF. So it's an arms race for some people, but for me, it's about the people, it's about the vision, and it's about the faith. And I think that's exactly what UCF stands for.
Are you based in Atlanta?
Yes.
Okay, so you're in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Who are some special people that'll be here tonight supporting you? Are there maybe some former players you haven't connected with in a while, or who are some of the people you're
So Marie Riderova, my setter, will be here.
Okay.
I cannot accept an award with my setter not being here, because who gets me the ball? And Marie and I's connection, I'll never forget. She had a concussion our senior year, and Todd asked me, do you want to play with Marie even though she's concussed? And I was like, if she can get out on the court, I would like to play with her. So she'll be here tonight. Angelica Crum, class of 2014. Jelly is what we called her. She's really special to me because I remember when I was getting recruited by UCF. Jelly's from Atlanta too. She played for a program called Atlanta Boom. I was playing for a team A5, and I remember as Michelle was really trying to sell me on the vision, she said, I want you to go watch Jelly play, because when you see her play, that's going to show you what UCF volleyball is about and what we're building. And I remember around her court, it was standing room. It's a gym, so of course people are standing. But it was tons of people around that court. A5 and Atlanta Boom going back and forth. And I just remember thinking, like, if I can play with her, that's going to be amazing. Like, okay, maybe they are really building like a rock star team for all of us to come into. So of course I had to invite her. She actually designed my beautiful dress. So I'm very excited about that as well. But my mom will be here, my dad, my stepmom, Lisa, my little sister, Jamie, which for me, representation means everything. So I want to expose her to as much stuff as I possibly can, just so she can see herself in the same place that I am. And then also Brad Strickland, who was a former administrator here at UCF. He was my sports supervisor when I was a student athlete, and he's now at Georgia Tech. So we see each other a lot. And I just think that it's really special to bring people back, when they all play different roles in your life. So that's my little squad tonight.
And of course, your former head coach, Todd Dashman,
Yes,
is now in
yes.
Atlanta with the Atlanta Vibe.
Yes, that is correct. And of course, Todd will be here tonight. So I'm just really excited just for everyone to come, and they made the trip down. It's just going to be a really nice time.
What has it been like?
Last question.
All right. What has it been like for you to see just volleyball in general shift from when you first left the program to now? Because of course that new league that Todd's been a part of is going to head coaching now, because volleyball hadn't really had a pro league up until that point.
Yeah.
So what has it been like for you to kind of see the changes going on across kind of the collegiate sport and sport landscape now that you're part of that search firm that kind of does that?
Yeah, well, I think to be honest with you, everybody's seeing what we all saw a long time ago. Volleyball is one of the fastest growing sports for females today. I think just the physicality of the game. Even last night, like, I always knew I was undersized for a middle, but I think our middles on the team right now are like 6'5" both. And so from that standpoint, I think that's what I've really enjoyed about the game: the pace, the speed, the physicality of it. Even last night I leaned over to Marie and I was like, these girls are way stronger than what we were. And so from that standpoint, I think that's just been really fun. Just this morning I was watching a video that A5 had posted. Their 12-1s team was playing what I looked like when I was 16. So from that standpoint, I just think there's more left to come. I think that it's just about providing opportunity and access to young women, and seeing athletic departments really invest in their programs, like I've seen UCF do with volleyball. I think is really what is the most important at the end of the day. So I just love everything about it.
Congratulations.
Thank
Congratulations.
you.
Real quick.